asking us a whole bunch of things about this picture. So find h of -3, h of 1, and h of 3. So again, when we're finding h of something, that means they're giving us the x value. In the parentheses is the x value. So this is saying when x is -3, what would y be? So if we look at our graph, we come over here to where x is -3, then y would be -2. This one is saying when x is 1, what's y? When x is 1, y is 0, so you got that one. And then here, when x is 3, 1, 2, 3, what's y? Looks to be 5. So that's what those are asking for. For what values of z is h of z? Oh, sorry, those should have been, I said x that whole time. They're actually z's, but same idea. For what value of z is h of z equal to 0? So when we're talking about h of z equals 0, that means h of z is like the y. So this is saying what values of the input, I wish they had just used x, makes the output, the y value equal 3. So coming up here to where our graph is 3 on the y, it looks like if the input z, I wish they used x, was 2, that would make the graph come out to 3. So that's what this is asking. What value do you put in to make it come out to 3? You put in a 2 to make it come out to 3. And we'll just make sure, yeah, that's all that's looking for. Find the intercepts of the graph. List the function values given by the intercepts. If there are multiple intercepts, enter it as a list. Okay, so this is saying this wants that, and what is that? Okay. Oh, that's a dumb way of saying that. Oh my god, this is a really dumb way of asking this question. Okay, so the x-intercepts, h of, I wish I could make that go away so you can see it better. H of what number, what are the x values for the x-intercepts of this function? So if we're looking at them just like regular, not written in this weird form, we have an x-intercept at -2 and we have an x-intercept at 1. That's what this piece is asking for, is what are the x values of the x-intercept? So -2 and +1. And then this side is asking, if I put those in, what y value do I get out? Well, it's an x-intercept, so you're going to get out 0, right? Because I wish they just had you write it as an ordered pair, -2, 0, and then 1, 0. But what they're doing is having you listed in function notation. So again, this side is our x's, and then that means the output is going to be 0 because they're x-intercepts. So for the y-intercept, what that means is to get a y-intercept, you have to put in x equals 0 or you're not on the y-axis. So when, and I keep saying x and this is z, but hopefully it makes more sense with the x. So when the input, or the x or z in this case, is 0, what would be the output? -2. Again, I wish this question had just asked you to write 0, -2, but it didn't. So for when x is 0, the output, the y-intercept is -2. Maximum you got, that's just wherever the graph is the highest. For what value or values of z, so that's our x, does h take on its maximum value? Okay, and these z's, just read them as x's. It will be way easier on the brain. So for what values of x does this function take on its maximum value? So right here you knew the maximum value was 5, and the second question is asking what x do I put in to make that happen? So that would be 3 right there. And you can kind of see a lot of these are just figuring out, are they looking for the x-coordinate or the y-coordinate, depending on how they're phrasing it. So that's what that one would be. And then on what interval is the function increasing? So I took a snapshot so I wouldn't have to go back and forth. So the function would be increasing on this interval right here, and then it's going to be decreasing there, and then it's going to be increasing again here. So anywhere it's getting bigger or getting bigger as we travel from left to right, that's increasing. And so you got, I think you're reading this -5, I think you're reading it over a line, so that would really be from -4 to -2. And then this would actually, so then here I think you went maybe from 2 to 5 or something, but it's the x value, so it's increasing from -5, I'm sorry, so from -4 to -2, and then it's going to decrease to here, so then it's going to increase again from 0 to 3. Let me pull that up so you can see it. Oops, here's my graph again. So again, if you think of this kind of on the x-axis, we have to identify that interval right there, and then again this interval right here, because that's all the places that red line is getting bigger. So from the -4 to the -2, and increasing, decreasing constant, always parentheses, and then again from 0 to 3. So where is it decreasing? That's going to be just on that little interval right there, and again increasing, decreasing constant, report x values. So that's on this interval between those two things, which would be from -2 to 0, and again parentheses on that. Hopefully that helps.